Hi, everybody. Okay, I feel like I am talking a little bit too quiet because I just don't know who can hear me here around me. So I'm just going to. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Getting. Today, I am recording my episode in Croatia, where I'm on a holiday with my family, with my parents, my sister, my husband, and my kids. And I have decided to take some time out of our vacation time and come upstairs in our apartment from the beach and record a short little episode for you guys because I feel this a very special way and opportunity to be able to grab my microphone, grab my phone, and record a video and a podcast audio episode for you guys. We did the same thing, a similar thing with my husband when we were in Milan in Italy last week. As many of you know, we are in Europe this month. I'm spending 5 weeks with my family, traveling around a little bit, being home in my hometown in Hungary. And every year, or not every year, but every time when we come to visit my family in Hungary, we are trying to, plan some extra traveling trips with family, with my husband, there's two of us, or with our siblings, and just go explore Europe and go visit those places that have some memories for us. So we did a little trip with my husband. We went to Milan last week, and that's where we met, and we recorded another episode there where we were talking about our relationship. Adam was talking a little bit about his experience of meeting me in Milan and how we got together, how we decided to get married, our struggles after we got married. So now we are in a third country after being in Italy and Hungary, and now we are in Croatia. And I have decided to just come up in our apartment. We have this beautiful, huge balcony up here where I have a beautiful view to the sea, to the Adriatic Sea, and take this little opportunity that I have some quiet time when it's just me up here. Everybody else is on the beach still, swimming, having a good time, getting tanned, and I just noticed I still have my sunglasses on, so I'm just gonna take them off so you guys can see my eyes. I know this is not a really good video quality because I don't have too much light on my face. I know you guys who are listening, just the audio, it doesn't really matter. And actually, you guys who are listening the audio, I hope you can hear these crickets and the sound of the sea, the water. It's just amazing, and I love being here. This is one of my favorite places in the whole world. Not that I have been in too many places, but this is one of my favorites for many reasons. One of the reasons are because it's just so beautiful here. The water is really clean. It smells amazing, but also because it just brings me a lot of childhood memories because we used to come here all the time when I was born in Serbia and we lived there. This whole area used to be just one country, so we would just, get in a car and drive down here to the beach, to the coast, and spend 1 or 2 weeks here in the summertime. So that's why I always make my husband come down here with us, but I think he loves it too now. He's more kind of a person who loves to go on vacation and explore more like a historical old cities and just new places all the time, cities and old towns that have old churches and lots of beautiful details. And I'm more the person who loves to be in the nature and experience nature with all the smells and the view and the sounds. So we always tend to just compromise and mold these two things together. And one of his all-time favorite cities in Croatia is Dubrovnik, where we went a couple of years ago, and he that was kind of like a perfect vacation place for us, because we were able to look at old the castle and then the old downtown Dubrovnik, and then I was able to enjoy my time on a beach. I wouldn't say relaxing time because we have two kids who are crazy and we just have to chase them around all the time, and I'm just now being up here by myself, kind of nervous and hoping that they're not gonna drown in the water or get poked by some sea creature or we have a lot of those black that I keep forgetting what is they called in English, but they have a lot of little pokey things on them, and if you step on them then you can get hurt. So, and a lot of like really sharp rocks, so I'm always worried about them, if they're safe and they don't get hurt, but I also want them to enjoy their time here. Because when I was little, I was at this kind of beaches too, and we never went to like a sandy beach or anything like kids friendly places where they have a bunch of playgrounds and toys. So we just had to get creative and play with rocks and find shells and catch fish and all kinds of things, which I think my oldest daughter is starting to really enjoy, and she already has a whole collection up here on a balcony of fun rocks and shells and everything. But anyway, this is not really what I wanted to talk about because, maybe you guys don't really care about this. I don't know. I don't really have a plan. I just honestly just wanted to take this opportunity that I'm here, and I grabbed my microphone, put it in the luggage when we came down here, and I said I'm just gonna take 30 minutes out of my time and say hi to you and connect with you guys. Well, not connect. I can't unfortunately connect with you guys, but I can record this episode, and then when I go back to Arizona, edit it and publish it for you guys. I don't know when this is actually going to be live. Hopefully soon as I go back. I still have, I think, 2 weeks left here in Europe before I go back to the US. So just to have a topic to talk about, I was thinking that I would talk a little bit about traveling as a multicultural couple, traveling as a multicultural family, traveling as a group of people who came from different generations and different cultures, and how we experienced this and what kind of emotions and thoughts I had during this time and while we're here, not just here, but just overall when we're traveling together. And I think that that's actually one of my most popular episodes in my podcast. So maybe this is something that shows me that you guys are interested hearing more about. So, as I already said, I'm here with my parents. That's one generation, and then us, my husband, my sister and me is another generation, and there are my kids who are the third generation. So this has their own struggles of trying to schedule our time, trying to find things that we want to do, interests that are similar, that are just something that's good for all of us, and then also trying to find just little things like food. What are we gonna eat for dinner? I had to learn quickly that my kids are old enough now that they have developed this. Anyway, they're used to eating food in America, and not just new type of like fruits and vegetables that we don't have in the States, but also food that we have there, but they just taste different here, like milk, bread, even tomatoes or cantaloupe, for example. We had this morning, and my daughter loves cantaloupe, but when she tried the Croatian cantaloupe, she said she doesn't like it because it just tastes differently. And bread the same way. I think kids are just really picky eaters in general anyway, but you have to think about that too. If you're thinking about traveling to a different country, like you're going to buy food that you know what there are. If you don't really feel too adventurous exploring different tastes, but they might taste different, that it feels like a complete different type of food, But then there's my husband, who is also a very picky eater, but he's really excited to try new food. I don't know, he just tried some mushroom, which he hates, but he was trying to, show that he wants to try new things to our daughter, that he's willing to explore new food. There's a lot of delicious seafood here, fish that tastes so good, and all those of you who doesn't like seafood are missing out a lot on it, because that's kind of like the best part of coming to a beach, to a coast for a vacation, because you get to try all of this yummy seafood that's local, right? And so that's what I'm really excited about. And also they have a lot of goat cheese and different type of meat and different type of spices here. So yeah, I think that's one of those things that are different when you travel, and especially when you travel with somebody who is familiar in that area. And that's something very good advantage to have if you are going somewhere as a tourist, as somebody who is exploring that new area, that you are going to travel with a person who already knows everything. For example, my dad comes to Croatia often because of his job, and also because we just used to come here all the time when we were little. So we speak the language, which is a huge advantage. Just like in every country, when you know their language, or when they see your willingness of trying to express yourself and trying to even just say little things like thank you or please or say hi in their language, the locals appreciate that so much, that they're willing to help you, to give you their best, to give you even just a smile or helpful tips or anything that you need at the moment, which we do need a lot of things when we are in a foreign place. So us speaking a language is a pretty good advantage to have, and helps us definitely a lot more when we're trying to find a restaurant or find a direction when we're driving, or finding out, for example, when is the boat leaving, or what is the good restaurant in this area to go to, or where is the shopping center, or whatever else you would need. Good beaches to see, locals always know where the good beaches are. And if you know the language, you can ask them and they will probably share, because they love that you took the effort to learn their language, or it for some reason, which I know maybe in Europe it's not so much a special thing or special knowledge to have, to speak multiple languages, because there are so many little countries with different languages. But you never know, if you have a different accent, for example, locally. Oh, look at this cute little sailing boat behind me. Anyway, I keep getting distracted. So when you are trying to find good places and you speak the language, that's a good advantage. Oh yeah, I know what I wanted to say. So even if you speak the language, maybe they will sense your accent that, oh, you are, for example, we used to live in a Serbian area of this country, and they can sense our accent, that we're not Croatians. That used to be a same language. It's a long story. I'm not even going to get into it. Or if you have an American accent, an English accent, they can sense that. Or Germans, there are a lot of Germans here. So even Croatians would often have a lot of signs out in German to make their stay more comfortable. But if you speak their local language, that's a really big advantage to have. Just speaking out of out of my own experience, because I heard that a lot of people would say that Croatians are like not too nice or they don't want to help, but we never experienced this, and I do think that's because of the language. The other thing I wanted to mention is when you're traveling with multicultural family, but with the different generations, then there are different needs that we have. And I know that's not particularly has not much to do with cultures, but just going down the beach, simple thing like that can sometimes get like complicated, because we're trying to find something that's kids friendly, and then my parents would want a beach that's more quiet where they can relax and just lay on a beach, or maybe not now anymore, but I used to have siblings who wanted to go to somewhere that's more noisy, when there are more people, more activities to do, maybe some beach kind of like snorkeling or renting a canoe, or like fun things to do on a beach where there's more people. And then you need some kids friendly beach where there's sand and it's safe for them to walk around, so you don't have to constantly be worried. So there are a lot of these things that we have to keep in mind. Or how far do we want our beach to be from the house, so we can come upstairs and grab some food or go to the restroom? Do the kids need to take a nap? Where are they going to take a nap? So I feel like there's the more people go on vacation, the more problems we need to solve. And there are some people who are willing to compromise. Some people just want to have their vacation the way they imagine. And sometimes it gets challenging. And one of the main reasons I wanted this episode to be about is that most Instagram posts or pictures, even from me that you see or from other people, is how happy everybody is to finally be together, and how amazing it is that we are live so far from each other, and now we can be together, not just visiting each other in our house, but also go on vacations together. Last winter we went to Mexico with my family, and it is very, very amazing, and I am so grateful and thankful that we are able to have these adventures and these experiences together as us as a big family. And because and I'm going down a tangent again, but I'm gonna go back up, because there are a lot of people who maybe can't afford financially to do trips, or they don't have big families. Maybe they only go back to visit one or two parents. Maybe they only have siblings. Maybe their parents passed away. Maybe your maybe your parents are just too old and they can't really go anywhere with you. Maybe you have little kids. Maybe you don't have kids, but you wish you would have. So me, as somebody who is trying to give advices, it's really hard, because there are a lot of different family situations, and maybe you thinking like, oh, I'm so jealous that you get to go to all of these places, or I'm so jealous that you have kids, or I'm so jealous that you have siblings, or that your parents are still so young and able to travel around, or that they want to travel, because some parents don't want to travel, they just want to stay home. Then there are some parents or grandparents who want to watch your kids and spend time with them. Some parents or grandparents are not really interested to take their time to be with their grandparents, and they just want to enjoy the time as themselves. So anyway, I'm trying to stay very generic, but also be very specific, because the only way I can give you some advice if I'm specific enough, right? So that's kind of the hard part of what I'm trying to do here with the podcast. But feel free to send me any kind of question, or heads up, hey, you haven't mentioned this option. What if it's just one parent who goes back with their kids, or what if I'm not even married and I'm just going back to visit my family, or what if I want to see For example, one of the conversations I'm having with my husband all the time is that he needs to spend all of his money and off time from work and traveling time coming to Hungary or coming to Croatia, because I want to go to Croatia every time we come to Hungary because we're so close. We're just 5-10 hours drive down to the coast, and I want to take advantage of being already in Europe, and then I want to just go down to Croatia. And he is getting bored of all of these places, that we're always in the same place, and that's understandable, and kind of something that we didn't really expect to have. But my parents are in the same situation. They always have to go, if they want to see us, come to Arizona, and we already been to all of the places. And I know that that's a good problem to have, and some people think like, oh, I wish I would have these kind of problems, that I have to be in Croatia every summer, or I have to travel to Arizona every time. But I'm just sharing my feelings, and to help you understand that even if everything looks amazing and looks like you feel jealous, that I wish I could go to so many places, or I wish I would have a family this big, or I would have kids, or I would have grandparents. Anyway, I'm going around again, but I feel like a kid crying, and I hope this is not mine. No, I don't think she's mine. Anyway, most of the time you see happy families, or hear happy stories, or hear that how amazing it is to unite with your family, with your loved ones, or how amazing it is to travel with your family and having this opportunity, and how grateful you feel to be able to experience things in your life that you didn't think you would. But often we struggle, and I don't know if you can feel it in my voice. I'm having a hard time talking about this because, again, I'm thinking about, I don't want to hurt other people's feelings, or I don't want to be disrespectful. You know, once you're talking about other people, then it's not just you. And I'm trying to be just myself here on this podcast. But how I'm experiencing this after 10 years, after having being a parent for 9, that it gets challenging, because when you come to visit your family, you kind of, you don't see them for a year, and then you compress that time into 1 or 2 months, or even just 2 weeks. And just imagine if you would live with your big extended family in the same town, and then you guys get to see each other occasionally, maybe every Sunday, or maybe once a month, or maybe 1 or 2 evenings together. You call each other on a phone and things like that. But when we are in a multicultural family, and then we travel to each other's home, back to our home to visit our family, usually we live them in their home. So all of a sudden I become the child of my parents living in their house again. But I also have my own kids, and I have my husband with me. So in their eyes, their kid is back in their house, living in their house, but with husband and kids. So I hope you can understand how the things can get complicated often, especially that my spouse doesn't speak our language and is from a different cultures, different routines and beliefs, and just even everyday lives. And then plus after that, we go on vacations together. So we live together, we're in a house together, we share rooms. Well, not literally, but like we have our rooms are together, our kitchen is together, we eat together, we do dishes together, we take care of our clothes, or we wake up, we go to bed. So a lot of things that we don't do anymore with these family members because we are so far from each other. But now all of a sudden we have to accommodate everybody and make sure that everybody is experiencing their life the way they want to, or experiencing this vacation the way they want to. But sometimes we get frustrated, or we feel like the other person doesn't understand us, or that we changed, our beliefs changed, or the way we live our lives changed, our morning routine changed, or I feel overwhelmed because I have 2 kids now. It's not by myself just reading a book on a beach like it used to be how my parents know me. So I think that's the whole reason I wanted to talk with you guys today, is to remind you that if you go back to see your family, maybe not even every year, maybe you have to wait 10, or not 10, maybe 2, 3, 5 years to go back and see your family, to see your siblings or your parents, and you go back with kids and spouse, or maybe you want to leave your spouse at home, maybe you will feel like happy to be with them, and then you would all of a sudden feel guilty because, oh, they're just so frustrating me right now because they don't understand this, or they don't want to do this, or they want to do this other thing that I don't want to do anymore, or I'm trying to explain to them that I live my life differently now, or I speak differently now, and I hate this feeling that I get mad at them, because I know that in a couple of days or in a couple of weeks, I have to say goodbye to them again, and who knows when I'm going to see them again. Sometime if I'm going to see them again, which happened with my grandma. I remember a couple of years ago, I went down to Serbia, now up, because now I'm down south, to visit her where she lived, and I was so happy to see her, and I was talking to her for a short time, and then we came back, and that was the last time I saw her, because the year after that she passed away, and there's a lot of regrets there that I wish I would have spent more time with her on that day. I wish I would have asked her more questions, but again, I feel like that's selfish, because she's probably in a happy place now, and thinking about that, well, if I think about that, that makes me happy. But anyway, so when we go back to visit our family, we feel this pressure of having everything perfect and being happy all the time and being grateful all the time, but sometimes we're not, and I just wanted to tell you guys that that's okay. Just don't do one thing. Don't hold back. Just talk it out with your family. Talk it out with your spouse. Maybe you will have some arguments with your spouse because they feel frustrated about your family doing or saying something or not, or just sitting at the dinner table and not being able to connect with them because he doesn't understand our jokes or what we're talking about, or what my kids are doing, and then my parents telling me how to parent, and I'm telling them that's not how I do it, but that's how they used to do it. Just these usual things that go in every family, not just a multicultural family, but I think mostly multicultural families are the type of family dynamics and family situations where there are some language barriers or habits or cultural traditional differences just in everyday life and vacation time or anything we do. For example, my brother now, he moved to a different country, and we were having a hard time adjusting our time with him so we can go on vacation together, and he wasn't able to come with us, and that's also something that makes me incredibly sad. I wish he would be here with us, but thankfully we will be able to spend a couple of days together when we go back. But that's another thing that we need to think about now, and that's just something new, because the more our family grows, my siblings would have spouses and kids, and the family just grows, and problems will grow too, because we're gonna want to have somewhere else, we want to go somewhere else, or we want to have something else, or we want to do something else. We want to tell each other what's the right thing to do, and then the other one gets upset. So I think that's all I wanted to share with you guys today, that if you are with your family that you haven't seen for so long and you feel angry or frustrated, just talk with them about it. Tell them how you feel. Tell them that, hey, I'm not how I used to be when I was young, or I'm not how I used to be before, or this is not how I want to parent, or anything. Just share it with them. Maybe at first they're gonna get upset or they're gonna get mad, but ultimately we all know that we are family, that we are there for each other, because even distance and time can't tear us apart, right? We talk with our family and friends, siblings, even from the distance. All those Skype calls, all those phone calls, all those Facebook messages that we share each other back and forth in pictures. And my brother now can't be here, but every day we take pictures of our time and then send it to him so he can feel like being part of. And we Skype and we call him on a Skype and at the dinner table to tell him that we miss him. So getting emotional again. And that's just what shows that you care, because you wouldn't get emotional if you don't care. And a little bit of fight, a little bit of frustration and feeling like, I had enough of just like 24/7 with these people and I'm just ready to go home and have some peace. But then I'm gonna feel so guilty that I have this feeling I should enjoy every second of our time together, and I'm not, and I feel like I'm a horrible person. It's okay. I think we're all the same and we're all humans. And, when you hop on Instagram, you see all these people being so happy and looking perfect and smiling at each other and having a good time. And how come they never fight? And how come they always look so good and happy together? And they're always able to travel to so many places. But there's more behind those pictures, believe me. And if we're already talking about pictures and Instagram, for example, to be completely honest with you, I haven't posted for weeks now on Instagram. And I just feel like every time, and I know I probably spent way too much time overthinking my post or making sure that I put out something valuable for you guys to look at or to read or something. But I feel like I have this time now here that has an ending, and I have limited time here, and I don't want to spend that on my phone. I don't want to spend that on my laptop, although I miss it incredibly, and I'm craving so much to just sit down in a quiet, cold room or just down the beach with my laptop and work a little bit. But then I know that I'm probably gonna regret it, because the only thing we have limited is time, and time is something that we will never be able to get back. And I have to be very, very cautious of how I spend my time here. Even if it's fighting, I'm still with the people that I love and with the people that I came here to be with. And I think that when all of this ends, we're gonna have pictures to look at with beautiful memories, and pictures that will remind us that fights that we had and arguments that we had, that will just build our relationship and make us even stronger and make us remember that who we are and who we grew into being. So I think that my time's up here for you guys now. This little time that I was able to sneak out away from my family, and they're probably wondering where did I go, or if I'm okay, or why I'm gone so late for so long. So I'm just gonna say goodbye to you guys now and go back to the beach and go swimming with my kids. And I hope everybody is doing great no matter where you guys are in the world. And I hope that I was able to give you some helpful tip and advice today. And I will talk to you guys next week. So bye everybody from Croatia.